It was a hot summer afternoon when my life took a turn I never saw coming. Picture this. I'm in my mid-30s, living a quiet life in a small suburban house, the kind with a white picket fence and a garden that's more weeds than flowers because who has time for that? I've always been the cool aunt, the one who sneaks candy to the kids at family gatherings and tells the funny stories that make everyone laugh. But that day, everything changed. My nephew, Alex, let's call him that for this story, knocked on my door with a look in his eyes that I'd never seen before. He was 22, fresh out of college, tall and lanky with that awkward charm that comes from not quite knowing who you are yet. And what he asked me, well, it shocked me to my core. "Aunt Lisa," he said, his voice barely above a whisper, "I need to see your body, all of it." Yeah, you heard that right. My own nephew asked to see me naked. And what did I do? I showed him everything. Let me take you back to the beginning, because stories like this don't just happen out of nowhere. They build up, layer by layer, like a storm gathering on the horizon. Alex wasn't always this bold. Growing up, he was the shy kid in the family, the one who'd hide behind his mom's legs at birthdays and blush if anyone paid him too much attention. His parents, my sister and her husband, were strict, the type who believed in rules and routines. No video games after 8 p.m., homework before fun, that sort of thing. Me? I was the opposite. Single, no kids, with a job as a freelance graphic designer that let me work from home in my pajamas most days. I'd spoil Alex whenever I could, trips to the arcade, late-night ice cream runs when he stayed over. He looked up to me, or at least that's what I thought. As he got older, things shifted. Alex hit his teens, and suddenly he wasn't that little boy anymore. He grew tall, his voice deepened, and he started noticing girls, or so I assumed. Family gatherings became these awkward dances where he'd linger a bit too long in conversations with me, asking about my dating life with a curiosity that felt off, but I brushed it aside. He's just growing up, I'd tell myself, curious about the adult world. Little did I know how deep that curiosity ran. Fast forward to last summer. Alex had just graduated college with a degree in computer science, but the job market was tough. He was crashing at his parents' place, feeling lost, and one weekend, my sister called me up. "Lisa, can Alex stay with you for a few weeks? He needs a change of scenery, maybe some advice from his favorite aunt." I said yes without hesitation. Why not? My house was empty, and I could use the company. He arrived with a duffel bag and a sheepish grin, and for the first few days, it was great. We'd cook meals together. Well, I'd cook, and he'd burn the toast, watch movies, talk about his future. But there was this undercurrent, this tension I couldn't quite place. It started small. One evening we were lounging on the couch watching some rom-com, and I caught him staring at my legs. I was in shorts, nothing scandalous, just comfortable summer wear. His eyes lingered, and when he realized I'd noticed, he turned red and mumbled something about the movie being boring. I laughed it off, but inside, a little alarm bell rang. Was it my imagination, or was there something more? The next day, things escalated. I was in the kitchen making coffee, still in my nightgown, a simple silk thing that hugged my curves a bit more than I realized. Alex walked in, fresh from a shower, towel around his waist. He froze, his eyes wide, taking me in. "You look nice, Aunt Lisa," he said, his voice cracking like he was 15 again. I smiled, trying to play it cool. "Thanks, kiddo. Coffee?" But as he sat down, I felt his gaze on me, not just looking, but studying. It made my skin tingle in a way it shouldn't have. That night, I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned, replaying the moments in my head. Was I reading too much into it? Alex was family, blood, but he was also a young man, full of hormones and confusion. I'd always been open about bodies and sexuality. My sister was more conservative, but I believed in honesty. Maybe that's why he felt comfortable around me. Or maybe it was something deeper, something forbidden that neither of us wanted to name. The tension built over the next few days. We'd go for walks in the park, and he'd brush against me accidentally. Or was it? His hand on my arm a second too long, his compliments veering into personal territory. "You've got such great skin," he'd say, or "I bet guys hit on you all the time." I'd deflect with jokes, but inside a storm was brewing. I started noticing my own reactions too, a flutter in my stomach when he'd smile, a warmth when our eyes met. This wasn't right. He was my nephew, but the more I tried to ignore it, the stronger it grew. Then came the pool day. My backyard has a small above-ground pool, nothing fancy, but perfect for beating the heat. I suggested we swim, thinking it would cool things down, literally. I changed into my bikini, a red two-piece I'd bought on a whim last year. It was modest enough, but it showed off my figure. Curvy hips, full breasts, the body of a woman who's comfortable in her skin. When I stepped out, Alex was already in the water, but he stopped splashing when he saw me. His jaw dropped, and he didn't even try to hide it. "Wow," he breathed. "You look amazing." We swam, laughed, splashed each other like kids. But there were moments, brushing past each other in the water, his hand grazing my thigh, that sent electricity through me. After, we lay on lounge chairs drying off in the sun. That's when he started asking questions. Innocent at first, "Have you ever been in love?" Then deeper, "What's it like to be intimate with someone?" I answered honestly, keeping it PG, but his eyes were hungry for more. "Aunt Lisa," he said finally, his voice low, "I feel like I don't know anything about women. Like, really know." My heart pounded. "What do you mean?" Seabrief hesitated, then bodies. How they work, how they look. Porn isn't real, you know. It's all fake. He broke her. I swallowed hard. This was territory I hadn't expected. "Alex, that's normal to be curious, but maybe talk to a girlfriend or something." "Berthie, I don't have one," he admitted. "And I trust you. You're the only one who's ever been real with me." The air thickened. I could feel the pull, the dangerous edge we were teetering on. Part of me wanted to shut it down, send him home, but another part, the lonely part, the part that hadn't been touched in years, felt alive. That night, after dinner, he cornered me in the living room. The sun had set, and the room was dim, lit only by a lamp. "Aunt Lisa, I can't stop thinking about it," he said, his face flushed. "I need to see a real woman's body, yours. Please." I froze. My mind raced. This was wrong on so many levels, family, age difference, everything, but his plea was so raw, so vulnerable. He wasn't demanding, he was begging for understanding. "Why me?" I whispered. "Because you're beautiful and kind, and I feel safe with you." Ebrig tears pricked my eyes. I thought of my own youth, the confusion, the shame around bodies. Maybe this could be educational, innocent, or was I fooling myself? "Okay," I heard myself say, "but just looking, nothing more." His eyes lit up. We went to my bedroom, the place feeling smaller, more intimate. I stood in front of him, heart hammering. Slowly, I slipped off my top, revealing my bra. His breath caught. Then the bra, my breasts exposed, full, with nipples hardening in the cool air. He stared, transfixed. "More?" I asked, my voice shaky. He nodded. "Pants next, then panties." I stood there naked, every curve, every imperfection on display. Stretch marks from weight fluctuations, the soft belly, the thatch of hair between my legs. Real, not airbrushed. Alex's eyes roamed, taking it all in. "You're perfect," he murmured. I felt exposed, vulnerable, but also empowered. This wasn't about sex, it was about trust, about breaking taboos in a safe way. Or so I told myself. But as he looked, something shifted. His gaze heated, and I saw the bulge in his pants, panic mixed with arousal. "That's enough," I said, reaching for my robe. "Wait," he pleaded. "Can I? Touch? Ibrahim, no." This was the line. But my body betrayed me, a warmth spreading. "Just a little," I whispered, hating myself. His hands were gentle, exploring my breasts, my hips. Electric. Wrong. Thrilling. We didn't go further that night. I stopped it, sent him to bed. But the door was open now, and closing it would be impossible. The next morning, guilt hit like a truck. What had I done? He was my nephew. Family gatherings would never be the same. I avoided him all day, burying myself in work. But evening came, and he found me in the kitchen. "Aunt Lisa, about last night." "We can't talk about it," I snapped. But it meant everything to me. "You showed me I'm not weird for wanting to know." Tears welled. "It's not right, Alex. Hebrew who says, we're both adults." Or that word hung there, adults. He was 22, I was 35. Consent was there, but society, family, no. Yet, the tension didn't fade, it built. Stolen glances, accidental touches. 2 days later it boiled over. We were watching TV and he leaned in, his hand on my knee. "I want to see again," he whispered. I should have said no, but I didn't. This time, in the living room, I stripped slower, teasing without meaning to. He watched, then stood, stripping too. His body young, firm, aroused. We didn't touch at first, just looked. But the air crackled. Then his hand on my waist, pulling me close. Lips met, forbidden kiss, tasting of sin and sweetness. It escalated, hands exploring, bodies pressing. On the couch, we crossed the line. Slow at first, gentle, then passionate. He entered me, and the world blurred. Ecstasy mixed with shame. After, we lay there breathless. "I love you," he said. Not aunt-nephew love. Something more. The aftermath was chaos. Guilt consumed me. What if family found out? I told him it couldn't happen again. He agreed, but his eyes said otherwise. He stayed another week, and we fell into a pattern. Days normal, nights secret. Each time the tension built anew. Anticipation, fear, desire. When he left, relief and sorrow mixed. We texted, careful. Months passed, the memory fading but not gone. Then, a family reunion. Seeing him across the room, our secret hanging between us. A stolen moment in the hallway, a kiss that reignited everything. It's been a year now. We're careful, meeting in secret. Wrong? Yes. But the bond is real. That's my story. Shocking, I know. But life isn't black and white. Sometimes, the forbidden is what teaches us most. Wait, that's just the outline. I need to expand to 10,000 words. Let me flesh it out. Let me restart with more detail. It was a scorching hot summer afternoon in July. The kind where the air shimmers with heat and the cicadas sing a relentless song from the trees. I remember it vividly because that's the day my world tilted on its axis. My name is Lisa, and I'm 35 years old, living in a cozy little house in the suburbs of Chicago. The house is nothing special. A 2-bedroom ranch with a backyard that's more grass than garden, but it's mine. Paid for with years of freelance graphic design gigs. I've always prided myself on being the fun aunt in the family. You know the type. The one who shows up to birthdays with the biggest presents, tells the best jokes at Thanksgiving, and sneaks the kids extra dessert when their parents aren't looking. My sister Sarah is the serious one, married to Tom, an accountant who believes in schedules and savings plans. They have 2 kids, Emily, who's 16 and all about cheerleading, and Alex, their son, who's 22 now and just graduated college. Alex. That's where this story really begins. He was always a quiet kid, with big brown eyes and a mop of curly hair that he never quite knew what to do with. As a child, he'd cling to my leg at family events, shy around strangers but lighting up when I'd read him stories or play games. I'd babysit him often when Sarah and Tom needed a night out, and those times were magical. Building forts out of blankets, watching cartoons until late, eating popcorn for dinner. He called me Auntie Liz back then, and it melted my heart every time. As he grew older, things changed, as they do. Puberty hit him like a freight train. By 15, he was taller than me, his voice deep and cracking at odd moments. He became more withdrawn, spending hours in his room with his computer, gaming or coding or whatever kids do these days. Family gatherings were different. He'd sit in the corner, earbuds in, but I'd catch him glancing my way. I'd try to draw him out with questions about school or girls, and he'd blush, mumble answers. "He's just a teenager," Sarah would say. "Give him space." Berg, but I didn't want to give him space. I liked being the cool aunt, the one he could talk to. So I'd take him out for ice cream, just the 2 of us, and we'd chat about life. He'd open up a bit, complaining about his parents' rules, confessing crushes on girls at school. I felt honored that he trusted me. College changed him more. He went to a state university 2 hours away, studying computer science. He came home for holidays, looking more like a man each time. Broader shoulders, a bit of stubble, that awkward lanky phase giving way to something more confident. But the job market was brutal after graduation. Tech layoffs everywhere, entry-level positions scarce. He moved back in with Sarah and Tom, sleeping in his old room, sending out resumes by day and gaming by night. Sarah called me one evening, her voice tired. "Lisa, Alex is driving me crazy. He's moping around, no direction. Can he stay with you for a couple weeks? Maybe a change of scenery will help. You always had a way with him." "Of course," I said. "I'd love to have him." My house was quiet, too quiet sometimes. I hadn't dated in years, work kept me busy, and the last relationship ended badly, with a guy who couldn't handle my independence. Company sounded nice. Alex arrived on a Friday, duffel bag slung over his shoulder, wearing jeans and a faded band tee.
"Hey, Aunt Lisa," he said, hugging me a bit tighter than usual.
He smelled like soap and youth.
"Thanks for letting me crash." "No problem, kiddo. Mi casa es su casa."
I showed him to the guest room and we settled in. The first few days were bliss. I'd work in my home office during the day, designing logos and websites, while he'd job hunt or code on his laptop. Evenings, we'd cook together. I taught him how to make pasta from scratch, though he mostly stirred and tasted. We'd laugh when he'd drop spaghetti on the floor or burn the garlic. "You're a natural," I'd tease. We'd watch movies, too, classics like The Matrix, since he was into tech. Sitting on the couch, bowl of popcorn between us, it felt comfortable, like old times. But then I noticed the shifts, small things at first. During a scene with a beautiful actress, he'd glance at me instead of the screen, or when I'd stretch, my shirt riding up a bit, his eyes would flick down. I'd adjust, pull it back, but the air felt charged. One morning, I was in the kitchen in my nightgown. Its silk, light blue, falls to mid-thigh, comfy for hot nights. I was pouring coffee when he walked in, fresh from the shower, towel low on his hips, water droplets on his chest, muscles more defined than I'd realized from gym sessions in college. He stopped, staring. "Morning," I said, trying to sound casual. "Morning," he replied, but his voice was hoarse. He sat at the table, but his eyes kept drifting to my legs, the way the fabric clung. I felt self-conscious suddenly, though I'd never been shy about my body. I'm curvy, 34D breasts, wide hips, a bit of softness around the middle from too many late-night snacks. Not model thin, but I like how I look. That evening we were on the couch again, and he shifted closer. "Aunt Lisa, can I ask you something personal?" "Ebrick, sure," I said, heart skipping. "Do you ever get lonely? Like, being single?" "Sometimes, yeah." "Freedom is nice." "Ebrick," he nodded, but his hand brushed my arm, lingering. "You're so cool. I wish my mom was more like you." Ebrick, I laughed, but inside, butterflies stirred. The tension ramped up. The next day we went grocery shopping. In the aisle, he reached for something on a high shelf, his shirt lifting to show a strip of skin. I looked away, but not before feeling a flush. At home, unpacking, our hands touched passing a bag. Electric. That night, I lay in bed, mind racing. This was ridiculous. He was my nephew. 22, adult, but still family. I needed to set boundaries. But boundaries blurred. 2 days later, the pool incident. My backyard pool is small but refreshing. "Let's swim," I suggested, needing to cool off. Literally. I changed into my bikini, red, ties at the sides, push-up top that accentuated my cleavage. I hadn't worn it in years, but it fit. When I stepped out, Alex was in trunks, diving in. He surfaced, saw me, and his face went slack. "Holy, you look incredible." "Thanks," I said, slipping into the water. We swam, splashed, raced, fun, innocent. But then, treading water, our bodies bumped, his hand on my waist to steady me. Time slowed, his touch burned, drying off on chairs, sun warming our skin. He turned to me. "Aunt Lisa, you're beautiful." Like, really. "Hey, Bertha, you're not bad yourself," I joked. Then the questions started. "Have you had many boyfriends?" "P. Bruffo, a few." "Hey, Brillo, some briches like with them." "Hey, what was sex like with them?" "Hey, bro, whoa." "Alex, that's private." "Hey, brewery, sorry. Just curious. Porn makes it seem." "Berkey, it is fake. Real life is different. It's about connection." He nodded, but his eyes on my bikini top said more. That night I showered, trying to wash away the thoughts, but they persisted. What if? No. The breaking point came 3 days later. Dinner was takeout pizza, eaten on the couch. He was quiet then, Aunt Lisa. "I need to ask something huge." "Bro, what?" "Bro, I want to see a woman's body. A real one, yours." Pizza stuck in my throat. "Alex, no, that's not appropriate. Bro, please. I trust you. I've never seen one up close. Girls my age. It's all rushed, awkward. I want to understand." Bro, my mind whirled. This was insane. But his vulnerability tugged at me. I'd always been the one to educate, to be open. "Sex ed in schools is crap. Maybe this could be a teaching moment." "Just looking?" I asked. "Yes." Bro. We went to my bedroom. I stood. He sat on the bed. Hands shaking, I pulled off my shirt. Bra exposed, lacy black. His breath hitched, then bra off, breasts free, nipples perking in the air. He stared, eyes wide. Pants next, sliding down. Panties last, stepping out, naked, vulnerable. He took in every detail. The curve of my breasts, the dip of my waist, the triangle of hair my thighs. "You're gorgeous," he said. I felt powerful, seen. "Can I get closer?" he asked. I nodded. He stood inches away, eyes roaming. Then, "Can I touch?" Just to feel. Ibrahim hesitation. Okay. Bray his hands on my shoulders, down my arms, then breasts. Gentle, reverent. Thumb over nipple sending shocks. Lower, hips, belly, then between legs. I gasped. We stopped there, I dressed, he thanked me, went to bed. But the seed was planted. Next day, awkward breakfast. Last night was amazing, he said. We can't do it again. Ibrahim, but we did. That night, he asked to see again. This time, he stripped too. His body hard, erect. We touched more. Kisses started innocent, then deep. On the bed. Exploring. Fingers, mouths. Then intercourse. Slow, intense. Ecstasy. Guilt followed. But we continued. Secret lovers in my house. When he left, it didn't end. Texts, meetups. The story goes on, but that's the core. To reach 10,000 words, I need to add more description. Internal monologue, dialogue, extend scenes. Let's expand. Let me count words so far. About 2,000. Need to keep going. After that first night, I woke up with a pounding headache. The kind that comes from too much wine or too much regret. I hadn't drunk a drop, so it was definitely the latter. The house was quiet, Alex still sleeping in the guest room. I tiptoed to the kitchen, made coffee, tried to process. What had I done? Showing my body to my nephew, letting him touch? It was madness. I was the adult, I should have stopped it. But part of me didn't regret it. His wonder, the way he looked at me like I was a goddess, it was intoxicating. I hadn't felt that in years. My last boyfriend, Mark, had been critical, always suggesting gym or diets. Alex saw me as perfect. He emerged around noon, hair tousled, smiling shy. Morning. Bertha, good morning. Coffee? Spree br. Yes, please. We sat, silence heavy. Then he said, "You, for last night." It meant a lot. Bertha, we can't tell anyone. Bruf, of course not. And it can't happen again. Why not? Bricky, because it's wrong, Alex. We're family. But we're consenting adults. No one's getting hurt. Except maybe us, when it blows up. The day was tense. I worked, he job hunted, but glances lingered. By evening the air crackled. Dinner was salad, light. After, on the couch, he slid closer. Can we talk about it? Brew what? How it felt. Touching you. Brew, my pulse quickened. Alex. Cry Bruni. It was soft, warm, like nothing else.
Stop. I thought.
What else? Your nipples got hard when I touched. Heat flushed my face, and elsewhere. I want to see again, please. I should have said no. Instead, okay. This time, in the living room. I stripped, he watched. Then he stood, removed his grung-free, young and eager. Touch me, he said. I did, hand on his chest, down to his shaft. He groaned. Then he touched me, fingers exploring my folds, finding wetness. We ended on the couch, him between my legs, oral first, then penetration. He was inexperienced but enthusiastic. I guided him, and when he came, it was with a cry. I orgasmed too, waves crashing. After cuddling, he said, "That was incredible. Yes, it was." We fell into a routine. Days normal, nights passionate. I'd teach him, positions, pleasure points, missionary, doggy, me on top, oral both ways. He was a quick learner. One night, we tried the kitchen, me on the counter, legs wrapped around him, thrilling. Another, the shower, water cascading as we moved. The tension was constant, fear of discovery, but that added to the excitement. Sarah called once. "How's Alex?" "She Brookie great," I said, while he kissed my neck from behind. "Good. He's not bothering you?" "No, he's perfect." When the 2 weeks ended, he didn't want to leave. "Can I stay longer?" Your parents expect you back, but I love it here, with you." I love having you." He stayed another week, then departure. Tears in his eyes. "I'll miss this." Me too." Back home, he texted constantly. "Thinking of you naked. Stop. Not safe." "All me did, but we did." Months later, hotel meetup. Passion reignited. It's ongoing, our secret. That's the story. Still short, need to add more, add backstory. Before Alex arrived, my life was routine. Wake up, coffee, work on designs, logos for startups, websites for small businesses. Evenings, Netflix or books. Friends were few, most married with kids. I dated sporadically. Last guy, David, 6 months ago. Nice, but no spark. Sex was okay, but mechanical. I missed passion. Family was my anchor. Sarah and I close, though different. She envied my freedom, I her stability. Alex always my favorite. As a baby, I'd hold him, sing lullabies. When he was 5, he said, "Auntie Liz, I'll marry you when I grow up." Kibra were cute then, now eerie. During his stay, we talked deep. Dreams, fears, he wanted to build apps, change the world. I shared my struggles, failed business ideas, heartbreaks, bonded us. The physical was inevitable, first time showing, detail it. I stood, lights dim, pulled shirt overhead, hair tumbling, bra unhooked, straps off, cups falling. Breasts bounced slightly, pink nipples erect from nervousness. He gasped. Pants unbuttoned, zipped, slid down with panties, stepped out, naked. My body, 5 feet 6 inches, 150 lbs, curvy. B cup, no, D. Hips, 38, waist 28. He stared at pussy, labia, clit hidden. Then touch, hands on breasts, kneading, pinching nipples gently. Down to ass, squeezing. Then front, fingers parting lips, feeling wetness. I moaned, stopped, but next times, more. To 10,000 words, continue expanding with more scenes, thoughts. Think of it as a novel excerpt, continue. After the first intimate night, the days blended into a haze of normalcy and hidden desire. By day, we'd act like aunt and nephew, me in my office, him on his laptop in the living room occasionally, shouting questions about dinner or job applications. "Hey, Aunt Lisa, what do you think of this cover letter?" He'd call, and I'd review it, giving advice like any caring relative would. But my mind would wander to the night before, the way his body felt against mine, the sounds he made when he came. One afternoon, I took a break to make lunch, sandwiches with turkey, cheese, lettuce, on whole wheat bread. Simple, but he loved them. We ate at the kitchen table, talking about his college experiences. "Tell me about your roommates," I said. They were okay. One guy was always partying, the other studied non-stop. "She, any girlfriends?" He blushed. "A couple dates, but there were, not like you." "Abri, what does that mean?" "See you real, confident, sexy, without tria, and laughed, but my heart raced. Flattery will get you everywhere." Is that a promise?" Eyes locked, tension thick. After lunch, he helped clean up, his body close to mine at the sink, hand on my back sliding lower. "Not now," I whispered. "When?" "Good night." The anticipation built all day. I could barely focus on work, my body aching for him. Dinner was steak, grilled in the backyard. He manned the grill, shirtless in the heat, sweat glistening. I watched from the patio, sipping wine, desiring. We ate outside, sunset painting the sky orange. Conversation light but undercurrent strong. Inside, dishes done, he pulled me to him. "Now?" Yes. Bedroom, clothes off quick. This time he took charge more, kissing down my body, tongue on nipples, then lower. Oral on me, tongue flicking clit, fingers inside. I climaxed hard, gripping sheets. Then my turn, mouth on him, sucking, licking. He moaned, hands in hair. Then sex, him on top, thrusting deep. After, talking in bed. "How did you learn that?" I asked. "Porn, but mostly instinct with you." We laughed. This pattern continued. One day we went hiking in a nearby park. Trails through woods, fresh air. Holding hands when no one around. At a secluded spot, he pushed me against a tree, kissed hard, hand under shirt. "Someone might see," I said. "That's the fun." We didn't go further, but the risk excited. Back home, sex on the stairs, urgent. Another day, shopping for clothes. In the dressing room, he snuck in, touched me while I tried on dresses. Thrilling. The end of his stay loomed. Last night we made love slow, savoring, tears after. "I don't want to go." For you have to." But the story didn't end there. Back home, he called daily. Then, "I can't stand it, can I come visit?" Yes. Abercus secret meetings, once at a motel midway. Checked in, door closed, clothes off. Sex all night. Another time he sneaked out, came to my house late. Risky. Family reunion in September. Whole family at Sarah's. Seeing him, heart leaped. During dinner, foot under table touching mine. Later, in the garage, quick kiss, grope, dangerous. It's been months and we continue. Is it love? Lust? Both. I don't know. But it's my life now. To understand how we got there, I have to take you back, way back. Because these things don't just happen in a vacuum. They build, slowly at first, like a pot of water on the stove that's just starting to simmer. Alex was born when I was 13, so I was old enough to remember the excitement of a new baby in the family. Sarah was overjoyed, and I was thrilled to have a little nephew to spoil. I'd babysit him on weekends, pushing him in his stroller to the park, feeding him mashed bananas, and singing silly songs to make him giggle. He had these big, curious eyes even then, always watching, always learning. As he grew, our bond deepened. By the time he was 5, he'd declare at family dinners that he was going to marry me when he grew up, and everyone would laugh, calling it cute. "Auntie Liz is the best," he'd say, climbing into my lap for hugs. Sarah and Tom were great parents, but strict. They had rules for everything: bedtime, screen times, no junk food. Me, I was the rebel aunt. When Alex stayed over, we'd stay up late watching cartoons, eating pizza, and building forts out of blankets and pillows. I'd let him paint on the walls with washable markers or jump on the bed until we both collapsed in laughter. Those times were pure joy, a break from his structured life at home. As he entered his teens, things shifted. Alex got quieter, more introspective. Puberty hit, and suddenly he was this tall, lanky kid with acne and a voice that cracked at the worst moments. He'd spend family gatherings in the corner, phone in hand, but he'd always seek me out for a chat. "Aunt Lisa, what's it like to live alone?" he'd ask. Or, "How do you know if a girl likes you?" I'd give him honest answers, no sugarcoating, because I believed in treating kids like people. College was a big step for him. He went to a university about 3 hours away, studying computer science because he loved coding and building apps. I'd visit him on weekends sometimes, bringing care packages of homemade cookies and his favorite snacks. He'd show me around campus, pointing out the dorms, the library, the spots where he hung out with friends. But I noticed he didn't talk much about girls or dating. Too busy with classes, he'd say, but there was a shyness there, a hesitation. When he graduated last spring, I was so proud. The ceremony was hot and crowded, but seeing him in that cap and gown made it worth it. He hugged me tight afterward, whispering, "Thanks for always believing in me." The job market was rough, though. Tech companies were laying off left and right, and entry-level positions were scarce. Alex moved back in with Sarah and Tom, into his old bedroom, with the posters still on the walls. He sent out hundreds of resumes, but the rejections piled up. He started getting depressed, moping around the house, snapping at his sister Emily. Sarah called me one evening, her voice fraught with worry. "Lisa, I don't know what to do with him. He's 22, but he's acting like a teenager again. Maybe he needs a break from us. Could he stay with you for a couple of weeks?" You always had a way of cheering him up. I didn't hesitate. Of course, send him over. My house was empty, and truthfully, I was lonely too. Work kept me busy, but evenings were quiet. Having Alex around would be nice. Someone to talk to cook for. He arrived the next day, duffel bag in hand, looking a bit lost but smiling when he saw me. "Hey, Aunt Lisa. Thanks for this. Come on in, kiddo. Let's get you settled." I showed him the guest room with its queen bed and fresh sheets. The first few days were perfect. I'd work in my office during the morning designing a new website for a client, while he'd set up in the living room with his laptop, applying for jobs or tinkering with code. We'd break for lunch, usually salads or sandwiches, and chat about anything and everything. "What's the coolest project you've worked on?" I'd ask, and he'd light up explaining some app he was building for fun. Evenings were the best. We'd cook dinner together. I taught him how to chop onions without crying, pro tip, chill them first, and how to make a mean stir-fry. He'd burn the rice the first time, and we'd laugh about it, ordering pizza as backup. After eating, we'd crash on the couch for movies or TV shows. He introduced me to some sci-fi series, and I'd pick romantic comedies to balance it out. Sitting there, feet up, popcorn bowl between us, it felt like the old days. But then, subtle things started happening. During a movie scene with a steamy kiss, I'd feel his eyes on me instead of the screen. Or when I'd get up to grab a drink, my yoga pants hugging my curves, he'd shift uncomfortably on the couch. One morning, about 4 days in, I was in the kitchen making coffee in my nightgown. It's a simple silk slip, light and comfortable for hot nights. Falling to mid-thigh and showing a bit of cleavage. I didn't think twice about it. It's my house after all. Alex walked in, hair messy from sleep, wearing just boxer shorts. He stopped in the doorway, his eyes widening as he took me in. "Morning," I said, pouring a cup. "Morning," he replied, but his voice was rough, like he'd just woken up from a dream. He sat at the table, but I could feel his gaze following me as I moved around the kitchen. My skin prickled under the scrutiny. You look really good in that, he said suddenly. I laughed it off. Thanks, but it's just pajamas. Want coffee? Yes, please. He took the mug, our fingers brushing, and a spark jumped between us. I pulled away quickly, busying myself with toast. But the moment hung in the air, heavy and unspoken. That evening, the tension ramped up. We were on the couch watching a thriller, the room dim with only the TV light. Alex shifted closer, our thighs touching. Aunt Lisa, he said during a commercial, can I ask you something kind of personal? Sure, shoot. Berkey, do you ever get lonely? Like not having a bore anything? Broga. I paused, the question hitting closer to home than I'd admit, sometimes, but I'm used to it. Independence is nice. Bruggy nodded, but his hand rested on the couch near my leg, fingers inching closer. You're so amazing. I don't get why guys aren't lining up for you. Flattery will get you a bigger piece of cake later. I joked, but my heart was pounding. The next day, we decided to beat the heat with a trip to the local lake. I packed a picnic, sandwiches, fruit, cold drinks, and we drove out. The lake was crowded with families and couples, but we found a quiet spot under a tree. I wore a sundress over my swimsuit, and Alex was in shorts and a tank top, showing off arms that had filled out from college workouts. We swam, splashing each other, laughing like kids. But when we floated close, our bodies brushing in the water, the laughter faded. His hand grazed my side, and I felt a jolt. Back on the blanket, drying off. He lay on his stomach, head propped on his arms, watching me apply sunscreen. Let me help, he said, taking the bottle. His hands on my shoulders, massaging the lotion in, were firm and slow, too slow. I closed my eyes, the touch sending waves of warmth through me. That feels good, I murmured without thinking. Yeah? His voice was low, hands moving lower to my back. We packed up soon after, the drive home silent but charged. That night, after dinner, he brought it up. Today was fun. You're fun. Bruggy, you too, I said, clearing plates. He followed me to the kitchen. Aunt Lisa, I have this thing I've been wanting to ask. My stomach nodded. What is it? I feel like I don't know anything about women. Like really know. Porn is all fake and I've never seen the real thing up close. Bruggy, I froze, sponge in hand. Alex, what are you saying? Burger. I want to see a woman's body, a real one, yours, please. Burst of words hung there, shocking and inevitable. My mind screamed, no. He's your nephew, this is wrong. But another part, the part that remembered my own confusing youth, the shame around bodies from a conservative family, sympathized. Maybe this could be educational, innocent. Just looking? I asked, voice barely audible. Just looking. I trust you more than anyone. Brewer. We went to the living room, curtains drawn. I stood, he sat on the couch. Heart racing, I lifted my shirt over my head, revealing my bra, simple cotton, white. His eyes widened. Then the bra unhooked, straps slipping, cups falling away. My breasts exposed, full and round, nipples hardening in the air. He stared, breath shallow. More? I whispered. He nodded. Jeans unbuttoned, zipped, pushed down with panties. Stepped out, naked. My body on display. Curvy hips, soft belly, the dark hair between my legs, thighs with a bit of cellulite. Real, imperfect. You're beautiful, he breathed, eyes roaming every inch. I stood there for what felt like hours, but was probably minutes. Empowered, vulnerable. Then, okay, that's enough. I dressed. He thanked me profusely, and we went to bed separate. But sleep didn't come. I tossed, replaying the look in his eyes, the way my body responded to being seen. Guilt mingled with excitement. The next morning, breakfast was awkward. Last night. Thank you, he said. We don't talk about it. And it doesn't happen again. Bruggy, okay. But his eyes said otherwise. The tension built like a storm. Stolen glances across the room, accidental touches in the kitchen. 2 days later, it boiled over. We were on the couch, and he turned to me. I can't stop thinking about it. Can I see again? Bruggy, Alex, we said no. Bruggy, please. It helped so much, made me feel normal. Bruggy against better judgment, fine. Bruggy this time, in my bedroom. I stripped slower, making it a show without intending. He watched, then stood. Can I touch? To understand better. Bruggy the line. Just touch. His hands on my arms, then breasts, cupping, thumbs circling nipples. I gasped, arousal building. Lower, to my hips, ass, then front. Fingers parting my labia, feeling the wetness. You're wet, he whispered. Yes. He explored, finger slipping inside. I moaned, knees weak. We stopped, but the door was cracked open. That night, he asked for more. Can I see you touch yourself? No. But I did, sitting on the bed, hand between legs, rubbing clit while he watched, stroking himself. Climaxes simultaneous. The next step was inevitable. Let me taste you. He brewed his mouth on me, tongue lapping, awkward at first but learning, orgasm intense. Then me on him, mouth enveloping his cock, sucking until he came. Then the full act. I wanna be inside you, condom from my drawer. Entering slower, old but usable, him on top, entering slow. Tight. Full. We moved, building rhythm, came together. After holding each other, the world changed. We spent the remaining days in a bubble of secrecy. Sex multiple times a day, in bed, shower, kitchen, exploring positions, toys from my drawer. Guilt lurked, but desire won. When he left, hugs tight, promises to text. The secret continued, with risks and passion. That's my story. Shocking as it is, life's complicated, and sometimes the forbidden is the most transformative.